that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who want to fight me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Man, I hope y'all having a great day, man. My day was pretty productive. Really productive, actually. And I felt like I earned the right to be able to talk some boxing today. If I get everything I need to get done during the day and it's a good day and I'm not slacking, then I allow myself to talk a little bit of boxing. Cookie Monster, Bodywork, salute Cookie Monster. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. For real. But, it's almost like, I wouldn't even say, it's almost annually. Here's lately, it's been annually. I definitely dropped off from this topic a lot. Cookie Monster, mic check 1 2, sounding great as usual. Look, bars. I appreciate that. I need that like every day. I appreciate that. That is vital to the show. But it definitely dropped off. I've definitely dropped off and fell back from this topic because I myself, I didn't want to be a hypocrite, right? There's a lot of people out here that go out and all the time, I see you, Cookie Monster. It's a lot of people that go out here every day and in some shape, form, or fashion, somehow, some way, they just shit on boxers like all day, every day. Their goal is because this is the way of the world, y'all. The way of the world in today's day and time is to stay relevant. I think I hit on this the other day about how it's not about staying relevant, right? Because if you in anything, yeah, you want to be, especially if it's something social, something where people are talking, having dialogue, discourse, debating, whatever. Yes, you want your name in the hat. You want to be one of the many options that people, come and see and hear, or, just pick your boxing mind. You want to have your contributions known to whoever your audience is. So in anything, you want to stay relevant, especially in entertainment, because this is all entertainment. Even though it's life and death for these boxers, it's not really life and death for us, but every day people are out here, and depending on who they're linked up with, who they're clicked up with, who is paying them, who is co-signing them, who they can get interviews from, who they can do all these things with that benefits them, they're going to play their role. They're going to do their job. Whether it's the hit pieces, whether it's the slander, whether it's planting a seed for some crazy stuff like, you know, manipulation. Easily Baked. Salute Bodywork. Salute Easily Baked. I appreciate you. But every day, right? Cause you notice this. It's like I know who's like promotional gangbanging, right? I know who's fighter gangbanging. I know who's part of this tribe or that tribe. Like I've identified it. Like my years on YouTube, I've identified who's who for the most part, with the exception of like new people who come on and do their thing that I get a hold of. Like I've identified like who's who, like what their overall agenda is. I know there are some channels that I pretty much rock with everything. I agree. I rock with everything they say, except for when it comes to one particular boxer. I rock with him. But people are so tribal now that hey, if you ain't part of the tribe, if you don't agree with the bylaws of the tribe, if you're not going to stay on code with their agenda, then you won't get a fair shake in the conversation. You'll get labeled as a hater. You'll get labeled as somebody that's just there to stir up mess, just there to cause problems, just there to be disruptive, even though they do it all day, every day. To wrap up this initial part here, I'm just going to tell you that gaslighting is at an all-time high. Right? We know that. You know, gaslighting is at an all-time high. Gas prices is all right. I mean, if you taking that premium, like I be having to pay for that premium, shit, premium is more than diesel. Eggs have gone down. Eggs have gone back down. You know. But I have to go into the curriculum and I have to talk about this. Like gaslighting. You know, I don't always do this, but really when I really want you to walk away from the conversations with something in your rucksack, something that you can march on and take, you know, on with you in your box of conversation, something for you to be aware with. I always got to go back to gaslighting, because this is for my hardcores. I don't cater to no casuals. It's a whole bunch of channels that shear the sheep. They manipulate the casuals all day, every day, man. It's amazing to see. It's entertaining. You know, I see them. This is not one of those channels. I don't give a fuck about no casuals over here. So this is for my hardcores, more specifically my intellectuals, more specifically those who are geared towards the healthy future of boxing. Like its longevity, its sustainability, it's for it to continue to thrive, for it to continue to meet the needs of us who are the consumers. I'm not here to just get my rocks off. I'm here to make small contributions in the conversation surrounding boxing. That's one, going to challenge you in your stance and some of the things that you think, give you a different perspective on how you see things, maybe add some correction, maybe enrich you in some areas, because I see a lot of people, they just get online and just start talking or whatever. They don't even know what the hell going on. They just come out and they just blurt out their opinions. They don't even know what the fuck is going on. Somebody got to pull them. And a lot of times people don't even take the time to correct them or to say, hey man, that's not quite right, man. Like, hold on, let's hold on, man. Let's backtrack this. They don't do that. And a lot of times the host like will know that somebody is not saying something right. They'll say, "Oh man, we don't tolerate no dissemination of false information," and then they do it. Or they will check somebody when they're trying to tell the truth. They'll check them. But then when somebody is embellishing and lying, they won't check them. They won't say nothing. They'll let it go. That's gaslighting, y'all. Why? Because it's a form of manipulation. So gaslighting, manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. That's what gaslighting is. And it's running amok on YouTube. But one of the things is, as I get into this whole thing, man, and I was really hoping that when I did this series, or this edition, the Devin Haney edition, I was hoping that after the fight that the things that I would really touch on or be geared towards relaying to everybody would be different. Right? I thought that based on the performance, based on seeing him again, I thought that what I would come out and do would be a little bit different. But it's not. Why? Because things are staying the same. There's a lot of things that stand the same with the young man and his team, and especially these knee pad wearing, tonsil jewelry having, throat coat spraying, goalpost moving, gawking, hawk touring creators out here, man. And the agendas that they have and the shit that they push, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. Like, but I I'm amazed that people actually sit around and listen to that shit. So I gotta, sometimes I gotta come out and do what I gotta do, man. And I think I have fell back over the years of being first. It's a couple people that's all they do is they just shit on Devin all day, every day. They just come up with anything they make. They do stuff. They go overboard with it. That's not the lane over here. But I said I don't want to be pigeonholed with them either. It's just that whenever I talk about something, I put a box on the scale. We put them all on the scale, and I try to be objective. And sometimes when I don't have anything positive to say, I just won't say nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I know somebody going through something or got something going, I just won't say nothing at all. A lot of people can't do that because they got to feed the sheep. So that's really the introduction, man. This is the Soft series, man, that I've been doing. I did one on Boots. You know what I'm saying? And basically around whether the criticisms that he was getting, whether or not that was fair. I did one on Shakur and how, this notion that nobody will fight him. I'm doing this one on Devin and the fact that he is notoriously hated for no apparent reason at all. So we're going to have to see if that's true. We're going to have to validate whether or not notoriously hated for no apparent reason at all. So first of all, is he the most hated fighter in boxing? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So it was a trick question. It was kind of loaded a little bit, because to even infer that man is the most hated fighter in boxing, he wouldn't even have got to where he got to. He would not have risen to the point where he got to if he was the most hated fighter in boxing. So it was loaded. I apologize for doing that to y'all, but first of all, it was loaded, right? He's not the most. Yet, does he get hate? Occasionally he does. Mike, why you say that? If you listen, I'm going to tell you, right? I say occasionally. Occasionally he gets hate. occasionally somebody will be like, oh yeah, because they affiliated with this tribe or that tribe, or they just something that they don't like, they'll just go out and that's just their thing to where they're just going to do that. Occasionally, not being defined by what most of these people are doing online when it comes to the young man and the subject of him, his father, his camp, his ways, all of that. We're going to try to break some of this stuff down, and I'm going to give you my perspective on it, and we'll see. But because a lot of the stuff that's happening is people just tell the truth around a young man, surrounding a young man, and people automatically say, and I must say, man, every time I hear somebody, man, on a channel or I'm watching a show and I hear somebody be like, man, I don't even understand why Devin just gets so much hate. I mean, gee, like that, all I hear is gawk, hawk tour. It's like we are in an era right now with boxing fans, like certain ones, because it's casually driven. It's casually driven. It's people that don't have the time. They have not been paying attention. They don't know. They're going by what their favorite content creator have spoon fed them, even though we catch their favorite content creators in lies all the time. I stopped doing it. I said, you know what? Why? Because just like y'all, you just playing Tinder. You just going back and forth. You just catching somebody and then putting them in a sling. And it's like, that's not no fun, man. Because you know they're going to do it. So I fell back. But every now and again, I'd be like, oh, sometimes it just pop up in my algorithm. So I'm like, oh, why am I getting this? Like, why would I be getting this? And I'll look. Sometimes ironic, because I think this internet, man, it's kind of weird. If somebody's biting you or copying you or doing a lot of shit that you're doing, the internet is kind of weird. They'll pop that shit up in your timeline unless you block them or make it to where, you know what I'm saying, it'll do that. But after time, it'll come back. So sometimes I go in there, I'm like, damn, man, that shit sounds so familiar. Like, damn, I was talking about that just last night. Wow. I just talked about that 2 days ago. Wow. And then sometimes when I go and I just jump in and I listen, they're still lying. They're still lying. So I'm like, man, it's just certain people are just not going to change. Like, they're going to do whatever it is for the bag, for the affiliation, to save the relationship, to keep the relationship going. Whatever it is, man, they got an obsession with perpetuating this bullshit, man. And I hate to do this, especially when I rock with somebody, but you know how sometimes when somebody says something and to avoid conflict, you kind of just let it slide. You be like, I want to say something, but you let it slide. Well, no. That's why this channel is called Silence is Consent. Basically, if you're remaining silent, then you allowing it, then you agreeing it, because they say that all it takes for evil to prevail is for grown men to remain silent, and I include women. But we talking about a multi-layered onion, y'all. So it is, you know, it requires a nice, well-rounded introduction, man, because I don't want no confusion on where I'm coming from with this, man. Is Devin Haney, is he hated or is he disliked? I think in many ways, a lot of people don't like a lot of things about either his moves, some of the things that happened in the past, or the voice of DHP, who happens to be the guy who made him. But it's not a hate, I don't think. I think it's more of a dislike. And you got to understand that part of it is because when many people were introduced, a lot of people were introduced to Devin off the bat, especially like Tank fans. Like me as a Tank fan, I was introduced to Devin as a Tank fan from him attaching himself to Tank's name. Like, he was the first one. That's why I started saying that people needed to stop trying to get in the game by attaching yourself to somebody else's name. It's like, it's like the same thing in rap. Like, when you make a diss track in rap, you make a diss track, and that's how you get on. I mean, some people can do it. Some people got on and they never look back. Like 50 got on doing How to Rob. Well, he named all the, you know what I'm saying? And he just had the talent and the skills to be able to. But like at some point in time, like just because somebody's shining and doing whatever, it's like you can, if you got your own lane and you got the goods, you can get on off of your own name. But I found out about him because he attached himself to Tay, and I'm like, and everybody like on YouTube anyway. Not major media at the time. It was mainly YouTube. It was a strong YouTube push that kept shoving this young man paws down everybody's throat. So I'm like, man, I'm gonna get this on. I'm gonna see what's going on, man. And initially, man, like it might sound cliche, but like everybody say, I fell asleep. So then, doing my background and looking at everything and watching and trying to figure out who he is and what's going on and whether, because I wanted to give a man a fair shake. Then when you realize that he was the understudy of Floyd Mayweather, he was one of his proteges, and you dig a little bit deeper and you realize that Zab Judah's like his goddad. And then you realize that he had like he's like considered like Roy Jones' nephew. And so you like, man, like who is this guy? Like, man, that's a great backing. That's a great foundation. So you kind of develop something to where it's like, dang, if he got all them people in his corner, man, he gonna be like, man, he must be nice. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's like nobody, it's very, very rare. Like it's a couple boxers that might have something similar, but not really. Nobody has that backing like to start. So that's already have you looking like, oh man, like this guy's like, man, he cut from that cloth, he affiliated with them, those are his folks. Like, so you already have this expectation, and then when you see what you see inside the ring, you like you kind of scratching your head a little bit, like where is it? Like you can see glimpses of this and that, you know what I'm saying? You can see a little glimpse of this and this and that, but like I know when I first started watching, I'm like, man, he didn't look fluid and coordinated like that. So part of it is the reputation, and then to come to find out that they kind of severed the ties mainly with Floyd. So then you like, hold on, man, like you the one that y'all are the one that like in a roundabout way, y'all the ones that's kind of like bit the hand that fed y'all the ones that like he put y'all on game and got the world to see you as a little man, a little guy, and taught you all these things and gave you the cosign for you to turn around, and because I guess what you feel like you got snubbed or something, like you didn't get chosen, like he went somewhere else. So I mean, but let y'all tell it was under the guise that you were going to be independent. So you leave that plug, you go somewhere else. You go get with Eddie. And so a lot of the time, just like another fighter that's considered like, he considered like in the US, he's pretty much like the face of boxing. So with another guy, a lot of the hate, so some of the hate or some of the dislike or the affiliation is like, some of that is transferred down from Floyd, like as in the Floyd Mayweather effect. So some of it, just because of them being offspring and people that just never gonna like Floyd, some of that comes down. A small inkling of it. Tank gets a lot of it because I guess it's a thing like, oh man, he had So imagine that. So if you looking at it like Tank had an unfair whatever, or he got a lottery ticket by being, you know, getting with Adrian Broner linking him up with Floyd, and Floyd, like, it's like winning 2 lottery tickets. So if you have that kind of thing where you like you feel some kind of way about that, yeah, you might have felt some kind of way about Devin, but that's the hate that people, or the dislike or disdain that was inherited from being affiliated with Floyd. So imagine if you affiliated with Floyd, you affiliated with Zab, who used to be one of my fighters back in the day. So you affiliated with Floyd, you affiliated with Zab, and Roy Jones, who was definitely that guy. Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, that guy. When I was little, those was the guys. So yeah, you're gonna inherit a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? People that's just like jealous or whatever, feel some kind of way, you're gonna inherit a little bit of that. So Tank get it just from being affiliated with AB and then Floyd. So Devin get a little bit of it from being affiliated with Floyd, Zab, and Roy. Right? So if Tank was getting it from Floyd as his promoter, a lot of people scratched their heads when Devin went over there to Eddie. And I always say, you know what I'm saying? Like I always say, I'm kind of like neutral with Eddie. It's just like you gotta watch Eddie, and it's like depending on the season or the fighter or whatever, it's like it's a lot to like about Eddie. But when you look at the history of some of the things that Eddie do, I noticed that people are bipolar when it comes to Eddie. Because when he was doing his things, when he was working with AJ, all the Wilder people were just shitting on Eddie. But they co-signed Devin when he went over there to Eddie. And I'm like, hold on, man. Y'all do know y'all make content, right? Y'all do know that all this shit is on wax, right? Y'all do know that it's records. Like people was in live chats when y'all was doing it, but it's a whole different ballgame. And so now I kind of see a little bit based on who the fighter is, how he's going to take care of him. So it's mixed feelings about how he's handling Boots. Mixed feelings about how Subriel Matias got. I think we could say he did a good job with Richardson Hitchens. For the most part, a good job with Ray Ford. The jury is definitely out on Tito Mercado right now. But the way he handled Andre, his dealings and how they see him with Wilder, But Devin, everybody like, yeah, Eddie, you know what I'm saying? But they flip-flop on that. So when he went over there to Eddie, Eddie built him. Eddie put his name in lights. Eddie was the promoter that he needed to be the voice. Eddie and Bill, man. Bill locked up YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Did what he needed to do, sold up YouTube, had everybody chirping, and then attaching themselves with Tank. And then you put Eddie in it, boof, you cooking with gasoline. So some of it was just like, man, a lot of people don't rock with Eddie. It's mixed feelings about it. Some people have like, Eddie's grown on me in some ways, but it's based on the fighter. It's based on the fighter. That's how I look at it. I said the tale of two Eddies. I did a video a while ago, like the tale of two Eddies. Some of that is the affiliation with Eddie. But in the simplest form, right? Some people don't like the fighting style. They don't like that fighting style. I know right now that I'm coming up with this thing, and it's kind of crazy for me to say it, but I don't like safety first fighters, man. I do not like safety first fighters, man. I like fighters that go in there with intentions to hurt you, with intentions to put on, like, to inflict punishment, to do damage, to attempt to end the contest if possible, because it is a contest. And the contest can last 6 rounds, 8 rounds, 10 rounds, 12 rounds. But I like fighters that attempt to end the contest. So some of it is like, man, some people don't like that boxing style. If you go back to what we just seen the other day when he was in the circus with Jose Ramirez, people really don't like that style. But I see now that there are some flip-flops out here, because the very same people that used to shit on Shakur for what he did, they're now justifying it for Devin doing it. And now they're saying, well, man, y'all ain't say nothing when Shakur was the... Even though a lot of people was voicing their opinion saying, oh, man, we don't know about that performance. You know what I'm saying? Shakur fans like myself was saying, hey, man, we don't know about that, man. Like, what was going on? He says his hand, but it's like, man, come on, man. Why'd you fight then? Going in there with a hand like that. Like, why'd you fight then? Like, some of us kept it a buck on Shakur in that situation with De Los Santos. But we started seeing this happen with Shakur. It was over some fights. It wasn't just like you just woke up one day and it was a De Los Santos performance, but we saw it whenever he was dealing with a power puncher. But when your goal and your agenda and all the people around you are telling and screaming and shouting to the world that you are the second coming of Floyd Mayweather, and then you get in the ring and you do something and you're persistent in trying to force that square peg into a round hole that you are the new Floyd, like, people are not buying that. They're not buying it. It don't resonate with them. You can try all you want. They don't correlate with each other. It don't add up. That's the whole, oversell, underdeliver. You're supposed to undersell and overdeliver. Another thing that people are not too fond of surrounding Devin is there's always some kind of exception to the rule when it comes to him. When it comes to them, like, we've all been either in a classroom setting, in a school, either on a team, doing something where somebody on a team where there's always some kind of special exception where, okay, well they don't gotta run hills. Why they don't gotta run? Everybody gotta run hill. Or they don't have to. They don't have to wear all their pads. Like, why they don't have to wear all that? There's always some kind of exception to the rule when it comes to him, and people point that out. A lot of times, people point it out, and they, oh man, you just want to hate. That's gaslighting, man. That's gaslighting. Like, I can give you some exceptions. This undisputed thing, that was an exception. The whole shit with him, the whole shit with T.O. doing what he did before and the sanctioning body doing this and this and that, they conveniently put it on the sanctioning body and say, oh, that's the sanctioning body's fault. When T.O. beat the guy, he beat the guy before Devin did. And the only reason why Devin had a strap was because the guy who went to go unify all the belts had a belt they called a franchise that was higher in designation than the one he dropped off. To this day, they won't acknowledge that. To this day, they will rob T.O. of everything that he did before. And whether you like T.O. or not, they will rob the accomplishments of T.O. to praise Devin. And throughout time, T.O. may have shown pockets where he has been an unlikable guy. But if you keep it down to the actual actions of the boxer, the actual fights that they had, and the fighters that they fought, and not based on who you rocking with, it's clear to see. That is one of the things that people do not like. They do not like the fact that that team, DHP, they will tear down the accomplishments of anybody that's on the other side, anybody that was a potential opponent, anybody that might even have thought of being a potential opponent. They will tear down, smear campaign, The very thing they complain about as far as having hit pieces put out on them, they make the hit pieces go out on everybody else. And I did something a while ago, man, and this they still perpetuate this lie. But like, you got to think, man, at one point in time, they were running around talking about Mikey didn't want to fight him. They were saying Robert Easton didn't want to fight him. Like, it's a lot of lists, but this is what they do. They'll tell you something in real time. They'll put that shit out on YouTube. They'll have the birds chirping and putting it out there and saturate the market with it, only for about a year later, 11 months later, 10 months later, you find out that was not true. Only they have no integrity to come back and police it up and clean it up. And there's too many of these. This video will probably be like 7 hours long if I highlighted all of them that when they do this. But every so often, more things come out and people get the truth. But it's just like in world history or events that happen in like out here in the real world, not just entertainment and boxing, but in the real world. Like when certain things happen at certain times in history, to where they said, oh man, it wasn't this, it wasn't that, oh, you just a CON conspiracist and all that. And then some time goes by and then some information come out and they be like, yeah, but you know, so much time went by, who cares? It's like, no, people who care about the truth care. People who care about the truth care. But I'm gonna do something. I gotta find something, man. I gotta do this, man, because it's been a minute. It's been a minute, but I gotta play this, man. And this is just, I'm gonna play this one because it's a short one, but it's a prime example of things that they actually do. And I used to get into it and do this, but I'm like, man, it don't even make no sense, man. I was like, I said a long time ago that his fans was gonna lead him up Schitt's Creek, man, and put him in a position to where it's like, damn, man, it didn't have to be this way. And we pretty much there. You know what I'm saying? We pretty much there to where it's like, man, there are solutions, but it's almost like they so far gone that it would take a lot. It would take a lot to turn it around, you know, but or it can take grabbing the right opponent and going in there and you know what I'm saying, doing some Floyd Mayweather type stuff. You know, that might be what it takes. So I'm gonna play this, man, and it's like, you know, some people, man, they company like some people have no right to talk about people like Tim Bradley, who's a company man, because they are company men. Absolutely, they company men. I'm looking back on one of my videos where an example of what I told you about as far as the exception is Regis was in a one-way rehydration clause. Regis program was in a one-way rehydration clause. And that's the performance that Devin made me eat crow because nobody saw him doing it. And I'm like, and we didn't find out till afterwards that that Regis was in a one-way rehydration clause. I was like, Eureka. But I had already ate the crow. You know what I'm saying? I ate the crow, but we know damn well Regis ain't never looked like that against nobody. He looked bad against Gorilla, but the nigga, he didn't look handicapped. You know what I'm saying? And he was handicapped. But that's just one of the things. I thought Regis like just grossly underestimated Devin or something. I ain't know what was, but you're not gonna find out. That was another one. The whole 5 times. 5 times Shakur was gonna make 5 times or 7 times the most. Like, man, it's a lot of them, y'all. I want to find this one. If you haven't already, man, hit the like button. Maintain low tones with me. Maintain low tones. Maintain low tones with me. Maintain low tones. It's gonna make sense, y'all. But see, this just go to show how long ago I got off of this, man. It's just because I realized it was a wasted effort, so I just got off of it. I've been off of it for so long. It's taking a minute to get our way back. Okay. So here it go, y'all. Let me pause this real quick. Here you go. This is one of them right here. This is an example, and this is from a while ago, but these things have not stopped happening, y'all. It's just I don't have time to sit up here and follow that because that's like a, Man, that'll be like having a damn near 2 jobs, man. Like not just a part-time job, but like 2 jobs. But let me pause this. Listen close. Listen close.
I'm just curious, is Tank Davis paying you niggas to protect this man? Now, let's talk about this Duck family tree. The reason why Adrian Broner is on the Duck family tree for Devin Haney is because Devin Haney was trying to fight Adrian Broner. That's a fact. Not a debate. That's a fact. Devin was trying to fight that man. Devin never said that Adrian Broner is a piece of shit. He never said that Adrian Broner is a dirtbag. He's not ready, blah, blah, blah. Devin has always give that man his respect. But he was trying to fight that man. That's the fact. Devin Haney called out Adrian Broner to fight. Adrian Broner went a different direction. That's a fact. It's not a debate. It's not a question. That's a statement. That is factually proven. He called out Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia went a different direction.
Mikey Garcia went a different direction.
Previously on Bodywork Box.
Problem, right? The zone got Mikey over there for $7 million. Let me finish. They got him over there for $7 million. Why they ain't offer him the fight with Devin? He over there. Mikey's over there. He fought. I never asked for the Mikey Garcia fight. But why? I never asked for the Mikey Garcia fight. Why not? I want the Mikey Garcia fight right now.
So Adrian Broner went another direction. Mikey Garcia ducked him. I don't know how many months later. I think that was like 7 months later. Bill tells the truth. I never wanted the Mikey Garcia fight. We never wanted the Mikey Garcia fight. Mind you, when a lot of this shit hit the fan, this was at a time when Mikey Garcia had just lost. If you know who Mikey Garcia is, somebody in his family that was very significant to him had just passed away when they did that. Had just passed away when they did that. So in a nutshell, basically, and I salute Ness for doing that when he did it, because you see how Ness used to be. He wasn't always like that when it came to them. Ness used to go hard. Ness used to, like, you talking about asking some tough questions. Ness used to really keep it a buck and really, like, he used to just be about just getting the truth. Just getting the truth. Like, just getting, like, the facts. And, like, because he was impassioned about boxing, that's all he really wanted to do. It didn't matter who was in the crosshairs. He just wanted to get the truth. It has grown into something else. But he wasn't always like that. He get up there because we want the fights, we want to do this, we want to do that. He would just straight up ask the questions and let the truth unfold and let the audience take away from it whatever it was that they wanted to take away from it. So that was one example. I got a lot of them, man. I got a lot of them, but I stopped doing it because I said, man, that's not my lane. It's not my lane. So, you got 8. So in that one clip, that was Adrian Broner and Mikey Garcia that got the slander. For the longest time, I don't know what he's doing or what's happening. I know he had got shot a while ago, but Robert Easter was in that conversation. They let them tell it, everybody was ducking this man, and they don't realize that all of them people had fan bases. You don't realize that when you go head to head with somebody, right, and they already got a fan base, and you talking and you doing slander like that, don't you know that you take on all of their fans? Like, it's like walking into a bar, like a biker club bar, and everybody, over here, some bikers is part of this, and over here, and then you haul off and just slap a dude with a vest that's part of this bikers club. That fan base is all going to turn and look at you all at once and be like, who the fuck is you? What are you talking about? And you're going to get all their attention. It's going to be up to you as how you're going to get out of it. And what I realized is that this man and his team, they went around on the backs of a lot of other people, on the names of a lot of other people. For the longest time, it was Lomachenko. But Devin and T.O. was racing for Lomachenko. And in that situation, the whole slander with Lomachenko was like he was the A side, and Lomachenko at times was being selective. But Lomachenko really wasn't discriminating. I think he saw that Tank was getting a lot of he was rising up real quick, and because of his style of fighting and how he was drawing more and more eyes, to who he was, for them highlight real knockouts and just, his story and all of that stuff, right? So Lomachenko kind of attached his name to Tank early on. But when it came to those guys like Devin and T.O., they were not on Lomachenko's, it wasn't on his radar. It wasn't until Lomachenko beat Richard Comey where Lomachenko was like, welcome to my club. When he went and got something that Lomachenko wanted, them guys were trying to say Richard Comey ducked. Them dudes were trying to say Javier Fortuna ducked. And then when the Javier Fortuna fight was up, coming up the back, Devin had messed up his shoulder. Even when he got that belt. I got a video, man, if you want, man. This is for you to do your leg work and your homework. But some of y'all don't even care to know the truth. You just, because you think that because you were part of that church. You think that because you're a part of their congregation, if you go and you get some information that's contrary to what the pastor's saying, you're not going to be welcome in the congregation. Well, they ain't going to know your sin if you go back and look at the video and you find out the truth. They not going to know unless you tell them. You might still rock with them, but like a lot of this shit has been going on for years, and people don't even care about the truth no more. It's like, that was the past, man. Get over it, move forward. It's like, no, man, because you got to think it's still going on now to this day. It's just different names in different situations. But Mauricio Suleiman actually came out and said that there was a time when Devin Haney and Lomachenko could have fought. He said it was a span of like 3 weeks, like 22 days. And you know what, and I believe it was probably a divisive bill, which, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, for how everything worked out, in hindsight, you could say, okay, cool, it worked out for y'all. But to say that you couldn't afford Loma, that's a lie. Mauricio Suleiman said it was a span of like 22 days in which he could afford Lomachenko. You know what he did? He wanted to solidify and stamp that belt that he got when Loma got that franchise. And guess what he did? He brought the boy over from Puerto Rico, Santiago. And it looked good on paper. It looked good on paper because I think at the time, I don't know, I think he was like 13 or 16-0 or something, undefeated, you know what I'm saying? Southpaw, all that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it looked good, and it's like, who this kid, you know what I'm saying? But he went and got him and stamped the defense on that belt. But he could have, according to Mauricio Sulaiman at the time, he could have fought Lomachenko. And at that time, there was no reason for Mauricio Sulaiman to lie. Not about that. Not when you got two fighters paying sanctioning fees on two belts. There was no reason for him to lie. They can't make that make sense. You want to know how I know that? Well, not how I know, but you know how that's more relevant, because if you think about it, when he was asked about Jose Ramirez this time, when I was saying, man, Jose Ramirez looked punchy and he looked like he ripe for the taking, respectfully, I was saying he looked punchy, you know what I'm saying? And we just seen Arnold Barbosa. When you look at that interview with Devin Haney, he said, yeah, on paper, this is probably gonna look like my biggest test. He said, but we already know it's a mismatch. Those are not my words. Those are Devin Haney's words. Those are his words. They said he was a mismatch. So that's why it puzzled me when Gabe Rosado was saying that, oh man, it's a tough challenge for him. Gabe Rosado pretty much set you up, and they shitted on Gabe Rosado, shitted on his resume. Bill came on and said that you ain't shit, you ain't never done what my son can do and all that, and then start talking about the man father and all this stuff, you know what I'm saying, just crazy stuff. Reminded me of the slander that he had against Bernard Hopkins, a legend. Not to mention you had already bit the hand that feed you in Floyd. You don't think that those are things that people look at and say, hey man, like, come on man, you kind of building a history with some people, like with a lot of different people that have respect in the boxing world. So you got AB, Mikey Garcia. You had the early slander on Lomachenko. You had yourself attaching yourself to Tank. You bit the hand that feeds you in Floyd. More recently, you shitted on Gabe. You had the whole incident with Bill talking about Bernard Hopkins, man. These are legends with fan bases. And the other thing is, when I be talking about this whole exception to the rule thing when it comes to Dev, is that it's kind of crazy how when Devin fighting somebody, oh, they the best thing since sliced bread. When that same somebody is fighting somebody else, it's slander. Slanderers. It's so many. When Tank fought Gamboa, oh man, that Gamboa. But then right after that, after getting stopped, when Tank wasn't even like, Tank had missed weight and everything, like that was, man, after that, when Tank was just getting back right. After that, Dev fought him. Around that time, he was supposed to be fighting Mr. Gary Antoine Russell. You got the slander of the whole Mr. Gary Antoine Russell. So you can imagine me being from out here, like being born in DC, living out here in Baltimore, dealing with that slander for somebody as great as, yeah, and I say great, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., great. He was one of the greats. 6 years, 352 days he reigned. A lot of people got on up through that division and didn't go see the man. Extreme slander. That was out on YouTube in high definition. Extreme slander. Then attaching the Tank, extreme slander. But you got to think, both of them people had fan bases. That shit worked because the YouTube presence was big, and how PBC get down, and how a lot of times on YouTube, since the casuals have it, and that was the next thing popping. It was like a stock that was rising. Wasn't nobody really. It was one person that was really like that really put it out there, and it was like the people that was affiliated with them that was actually putting it out there, letting it be. But it was a couple channels that was talking to a couple people and getting Gary's story and having, you know what I'm saying, his people on, and we was all, you know what I'm saying, watching and looking at this whole shit unfolded. There was another lie he got caught up in. And he got the stuttering, and Mr. Gary said, listen, man, he's like, man, hold on, Bill, we had already talked. And he got to doing all that fast talking and going in circles, and because you know Mr. Gary Russell, he got a short tolerance, he got a short fuse. He's like, nah, man, listen. He said, I'm not talking about this time. He said, you know, when I came to you and I said this and that, you was supposed to get back to me. Bill was like, yeah, I know, but he was like, yeah, but you ain't never called me. He didn't let the people know that. They had it built up, like they had all this stuff. They had all of YouTube thinking that he was getting ready to fight Mr. Gary Russell. And they had already known they was fighting Gamboa. They had already known. Not to mention, Gamboa had just came off of a loss by getting stopped by Tank late in the fight. So the exception to being able to fight somebody coming off of a loss, a stoppage loss. Once again, when Tank fought him, he wasn't, nah, man, you don't get no credit for old man Gamboa. But then when he do it, with Lomachenko, you gotta think, it was 2 years. It was 2 years. 2 years before, he said Loma was too old and too small. Everybody was saying, oh man, nobody want to see Tank versus Loma. But then when Devin actually fought him, he was the best thing since sliced bread. They don't say nothing about him getting out of the Fortuna fight when Fortuna was actually like formidable Fortuna. This before the JoJo Diaz fight. Mysterious shoulder injury. I mean, he probably did have a shoulder injury. I can't say nothing about a shoulder injury, but they don't talk about that when Fortuna was somebody. He wound up getting JoJo Diaz, and at that time, everybody knew JoJo Diaz was like, you know, it's known. He over there on Pro Box. He was drinking and stuff, and he had all kind of, you know, extracurricular things going on outside the ring that his name shouldn't have been affiliated with. Other thing is, other thing is this, man. The elephant in the room is working with Vic, with that guy Vic, man, and being with Snack. And I don't see how it's a lot of people that, like, I don't know, man. That's a very polarizing conversation. That's why I kind of stopped doing videos about it, because it's too polarizing, man. And I give this example all the time, man. When R. Kelly get out, you got a daughter that's in high school, and R. Kelly get out, and they say that, oh, he's gonna be the music director at the high school. Is you pulling your daughter out of that? Is your daughter going to be enrolled in any kind of music curriculum, any kind of thing? No. If you find out that Bernie Madoff get out, and now you know you banking with Bank of America, and now Bernie Madoff is the CEO, he's the chief. Let's say he's the CFO, he's the chief financial officer over there at Bank of America. Are you still having your funds, your direct deposits, your contracts, your settlements go through Bank of America? I think not. But when a certain individual that was affiliated with track stars and all this other stuff, when they get out now, it's okay. Yeah, that's different, man. See now, and then you want to start naming off everybody else who's on the program. It's like, okay, so in a vacuum, if you talk about this one specific boxer, keep it about that one boxer. They bring up everybody. The biggest knee pad wearing fan just did something. I seen the thumbnail when he was saying that Arnold Barbosa was snacked. That's really not the point, man. The point is, why are you with him? And that goes for any boxer. It's like, man, especially when you've had success in your career for an extended period of time, and then all of a sudden, at some point in time, you decide to go get with them. For what? It's an eyebrow raiser. It's a head scratcher. That's another exception to the rule. But I bet you with that R. Kelly example and with that Bernie Madoff example, you're going to say absolutely not. But it's different when you come into boxing. Something where somebody can actually die in the ring. That's different, man. See, you hating, man. See, such and such was snacked. Such and such was snacked. This person was snacked. It's like, listen. If we talking about that boxer and they get in the crosshairs when we put them on the scale, yes. If that come up, yeah, that should be brought up. I stopped doing videos about certain boxers that I found out was affiliated, whatever. I just stopped doing it. Like, yeah, I'll talk about, but if you are and I can't really explain why, I'm not really do no videos on it. That's another exception to the rule. Tank got barbecue over catch weight. That's another exception to the rule with Mr. Only when he go do it. It's in the when Tank fought Ryan. Oh man, why you ain't fighting nobody or whatever. That was exception. But then when Devin go fight him, oh man, it's the biggest fight in boxing. Then you find out Rolly spilled some beans and said that, they was in negotiations at one point, and Devin and them wanted $8 million and wanted to give Rolly $100,000. If that's not the definition of pricing yourself out, I don't know what is. They get the lie. Like when they said they was gonna be at one, it was gonna be no other champions at 135. They stand there to the rest of the year, and Church came out and said, no. The great Lord Devin Haney is going to be sporty at 40 or whatever he said, whatever he said, however he be ripping and rhyming, he rhymes and he rips like Dylan and shit. That's what he said. And they left. There was another champion at 35. Nobody said nothing. They just came up with another excuse. But when they sit around and talk about all these other boxers, any other boxer, they will get slandered to no end. Not with this guy. That's the hypocrisy. So when people see hypocrisy, like, hold on, man, but you said this. You know what I'm saying? That's what people don't like. It's not hate, it's pointing out something that they don't like. That's all it really is. Pop Smoke was on my channel. Pop a lot of shit James was on my channel yesterday or the day before, one of them. Yeah, we was cooking. And he said something, right? That might have went over a lot of people's heads, man. See, let me lead you into this. I was watching the interview with it was a minute ago, but it was an interview with Mr. Gary Russell. And he was talking about fighters who go from trainer to trainer or coach to coach or whatever. In his gym, in their terminology, he called them Frankenstein fighters. You talking about Mr. Gary Russell, one of the nicest to ever lace him up, especially as far as speed and combinations. and just boxing IQ, everything, man. He was a little savage, man. He was a little pit bull, man. Still is. Just not active. They called them Frankenstein fighters, right? And if you notice something with Devin, right? He's been with all these people. He started off with, Floyd and them. And he moved on. He had a little bit of Mickey Bay, Ben Davison. All these different, so people don't really realize this, but he's a Frankenstein. He's kind of like a Frankenstein fighter. He has a certain style, but he will be considered one of them Frankensteins. But the thing that Pop said that a lot of people probably that probably went over a lot of people's head is that he said something to the effect of, he got all his questions answered by that performance the other night, and he gave his opinion on it. But when it came down to, I think AC was basically saying, look, he need to find one trainer, somebody that he can believe in, and need to set Bill off to the side to where he's still there, but have like one trainer with one voice where the trainer can, train on stuff, and then that's the only thing that Devin hears, and he goes in there and, he performs based on that. They make the adjustments, blah, blah, blah. Pop brought up the fact that he goes and trained these guys, and when he was winning, he would be training with this person, training with that person, training with this person, training with that person. And when he wins, he leaves, and Bill takes all the credit. So not only is that bad because you're a Frankenstein, like trying to learn, because they was knocking on AJ for it. They were knocking on AJ for it. When he went over there with Derrick James, and they was knocking on him. But when you're a Frankenstein, and when you're successful and you win, Bill take all the credit. You don't think that builds up resentment and turmoil, especially in these boxing streets? Like boxers and it's a secret community where they talk all amongst each other. They know what's going on. They be laughing at us like, y'all don't know what's going on. But you know how it is, man. People be talking, man. You don't think that build up resentment? You don't think that they had at some point in time burned so many bridges? Like when they left Eddie, after he put all that time and investment and built them up, and then they went over there to Top Rank. Then they left Top Rank and just played ping pong all over the place under the guise of being independent. That's burnt bridges, man. So ain't nobody blackball you. How you get blackballed? How are they blackballing them when y'all burnt all these bridges? And so for promotional gangbanging, you made enemies. For fighters of those promotional companies, you've made enemies. Of certain fighters with just names, you've made enemies. It seems to me that you all make more enemies than friends. In the last interview, when he was with Andre Ward, I recall him sitting down talking, and they were talking about material things and buying watches, and he's like, "Man, listen, I've done all that. I'm done all this. I'm past all of that." He was talking about how his dad told him that when, basically when you stop all of this, that money's gonna have to last you for the rest of your life. And he was talking about having a child and being more thoughtful of his future and his finances and all this. Talking all this stuff, which is a good selling story. But what happened after the fight? What happened after the fight? They show him getting another Rolex or whatever it is and doing all. It's like, okay, so what, you be lying, bro. You be lying. You be selling the story beforehand and doing something totally after. It's the bait and switch. It's like we don't like. So a lot of people don't even really know the dude, man. They just know Bill, and then they have the actions to go by. So if it's not lining up and somebody pointed out, you can't default or have your sheep just out here, well, y'all just hate them or something. Like, that's like I'm telling you, man, that's like some of the softest shit out here online when it comes to this topic, because it's like you can't take no ownership. And this is not the only fan base that do it. Like, this not the only fan base where you can't even ask him one goddamn single straightforward question. Up, they kick you out. They're gonna ban you. Up, you gotta be removed. You gotta be blocked. But even if you having a debate and you're just talking it, you ask one simple question, one straightforward question, they can't even answer it straight. They gotta do the typewriter on you. But from being hypocrites, from burning bridges, the fighting style inside the ring, all of these little exceptions, all of these little lies, these lies that you do where you say this and then you know behind closed doors that that's not really what's going on, and then in the future you go and do something else, slandering other people. The hypocrisy is you got the knee pad wearers talking about, oh man, like calling Tank all kind of shit, like putting like, and then when his father was putting up his mugshot and they was doing all this, they was saying all kind of stuff when that man was in prison, saying all kind of crazy stuff. Well, Devin got, you know what I'm saying, when he had his little incident with the tool, they didn't say nothing. When Devin punched on the carnival worker, didn't even drop him. But when Devin punched on the carnival, they didn't do nothing. They didn't say nothing. With the lawsuit, they, oh man, it's your right, man. It's life and death in there. When he came in, he went into the ring talking about he was going to unalive the dude. Then afterwards, when he got, you know what I'm saying, beat up or whatever, they blamed it on the Oster ring, right? They blamed it on that, which, you know what I'm saying, yeah, we need clean fighters. This is life and death. Yes, we do. But then when did the lawsuit thing? And then a fighter, like so a fighter, and Gabe Rosado spoke out about it and said, man, we don't look at that. And he was a boxer. Bernard Hopkins, he was a boxer. And when these guys give their opinion, Oscar, he was a boxer. So even if you're not going to take it for somebody like myself, I play football. Even if you're not going to take it from somebody like myself, you got to take it from the people that's actually been in there. Like legends in the game, living legends in the game. You got to take in consideration what they say. Because you're not doing anything new. It's nothing new under the sun. You're not doing anything new. But they said, collectively, they didn't agree with it. They don't, you know what I'm saying? And they had long, successful, even when they leave here, they're going to be remembered. They're going to, like, they're in the books. You are too. But at the same time, they didn't agree with that. Being street one day and then suing and all, like, come on, man. Like, a lot of it is not hate, y'all. A lot of it is fair criticism. I don't really know what to tell y'all. I just know that I don't know what place they in. I don't know what place they in, because it looked like it's almost like when somebody need help, but they don't know they need help, and they not gonna realize it until they get help. Because it's still happening. Like even with the recent Jose Ramirez slander. Like, why do that? Why even get put in a situation like that where you create that? But see, that's what I'm saying. It's an established pattern to where it's like, you know, it's just you man. It's like, I don't know, man. It's almost like what's going on in the world, man. Where we, you know, as a place, as a country, we starting beefs with a lot of different people and you know, we stirring up the pot and whacking the hornet's nest in a whole lot of different directions with a whole lot of different entities. Not thinking that one day, there's going to be consequences. So, you know, I really think that I've proven to be that this like, if it is hate, it's occasional. You got a couple, you got a few haters. You got some people that are actually telling the truth, and then you got a lot of people that don't like you for one reason or another. To say that there's no reason at all and try to act like, oh my gosh, they don't want the young black man to succeed. We've been like, you know, and don't, it'll be a whole nother hour if I get on how y'all use and manipulate when to use and not use the race card, when to use and not use being on code. Because y'all don't be on code when y'all be doing a lot of the stuff and a lot of the shit that y'all be saying and doing to these other fighters. Even when you think about the fraternity of boxers, y'all don't even stay on code when it comes down to the fraternity of boxers. The fraternity of boxers. Because normally when you share the ring, just like when you on the football field and you play somebody or whatever and you meet and y'all do the handshake and y'all do all that, man, y'all was trying to kill each other when the, you know what I'm saying, when the clock was ticking, and now it's over. It's like, man, it's special, like, because you done shared the field with them, you done shared the ring with them. Y'all don't have no respect for that. But I get it. Any publicity is good publicity, right? If you can tweet and get another follower, if you can get another person, if you can just keep, but at the end of the day, man, it's almost like the jig is up because, man, them paydays and the opportunities and these performances, it's like, man, you pretty much gonna be at the mercy of somebody unless you're gonna be doing your own thing, like you say. If you're independent, promoting your own stuff, you're gonna promote your own stuff and do your own thing and grab the bull, like really be independent, because y'all been professing to be independent, even though it's been partnerships and all kind of crazy stuff where the money is mysteriously always coming from a bigger entity than yourselves. You know, to where it's like, man, y'all might really have to walk that independent shit out here shortly, man, with all these bridges burned and all, you know, just the energy around anything that's said or done with this group and these people. And I think at his heart of hearts, I don't even think Devin like that for real. I think he just being led astray. And I'm gonna close with this. To end it all, which I should have said this in the beginning, but I wanted to wait to the end so that you get everything that I was saying. And I got so many videos, there's so many different things out there and so much shit that I could put out here to actually really drive this point home. But this is the most important point. The reason why that you can't say that you're getting hate for no reason at all is because you all asked for it. You all wanted to play the villain. You all were encouraged to change your name, trying to be like Floyd. Like when Floyd went from Pretty Boy to Money May, they wanted you to become Dev Dollars, and they wanted you to play this villain role, and you are embracing the villain role. You saying that you're welcoming it. You like the booze. You want to hear the booze. Like, come on, man. You don't want, but you asked for this. trying to be a villain. Well, I'm never going to stop saying this. All the best villains have the best weapon. And I'm not sure inside the ring look like inside the ring here recently, judging by, because we always judge. It's crazy how, you know, we'll judge Tank by his last performance, and we criticize Shakur from his last performance. But we look at your last performance, oh my gosh, why are they hating? Judging from your last performance, the best weapon you have are a set of wings. So you asked, you were coerced. Your fan base told you, just like your fan base told you to go in there and fight Ryan and stand toe to toe, and your father said, yeah, go in there and unalive him. And you said, we gonna go in the middle of the ring and do it. Like all that shit. You said it. A lot of these things y'all brought on yourself, but the hate, it's not hate. Like, and even you can say now that a lot of the hate that you get, you asked for it. That's what you want. That's the role you playing. You planting seeds for it. You got people out here online putting other boxers in drag and doing all kind of crazy shit on your behalf. Was the bunk bed that soft? Was the eggs that cheesy? Were the grits that banging? But a lot of the things that you are getting, and a lot of the when people are starting to wake up, because we're in the hindsight of 2020, people don't like you when you say in real time. Like I tell you, like the biggest knee pad, the biggest knee pad wearing, tonsil jewelry displaying, throat coat spraying, Devin Haney fan. Can't tell them shit. But some of us been trying to tell you that the train, like, hey man, y'all might want to get off that track because the train is coming. Like some of us tried to tell you. You know what this dumb man said? Oh, if you're not my friend and I don't fuck with you, then I don't gotta hear. Well, I don't know, man, but if I'm at an intersection and from my vantage point, I tell somebody, hey man, I wouldn't go out in the middle of the street right now. Let they dumb ass be like, oh man, you ain't my friend, and take a step out. That's what y'all doing online, man. So some of us have been warned you. Not we ain't hindsight of 2020. We've been telling y'all, walking y'all down this motherfucking path the whole time, saying, nah man, don't do that. You ain't gotta do that. That's not your image. You the wholesome dude. Like you should be on some preppy shit. You should be on some like some clean, fly, fresh. You ain't no villain. But keep playing it. Keep playing the villain. Keep playing the villain. This ain't wrestling. And when it's all said and done, man, it's a real world out here, and you burned a lot of bridges, bro. So I'm just saying that, listen, man, I think I debunked it, man. Aside from playing 1,000 videos and giving y'all a whole bunch of examples, I've given you enough to say we need to cut that shit out when somebody say somebody hating. Like, no, somebody's pointing out some real shit, having a real conversation, trying to tell you about yourself and how, you know what I'm saying, y'all can kind of, you know, because it ain't, I don't think it's too late. It might be. I don't know. But I'm just saying, man, y'all asked for this. Ultimately, this is what y'all wanted because y'all created it. This is a manifestation of all these things over time that's now manifested themselves. And y'all are perpetuating it because, like I said, this last shit, the last thing you did with Jose Ramirez and the whole after the fight thing. It's like you couldn't just win and just like even after you won, you came back out there and was sitting around there looking all goofy and taunting and like, man, I'm telling you, man, it's not unwarranted, man, and it's not hate. It's just people keeping it real, even though that's what it's starting to become because you asked for it, you welcomed it, you relish in it, so to speak. But remember, a villain without no weapons is really just a victim. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. Well, we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to